What's your name?
My name's Aura Martinez.
How old are you and where are you from?
I'm 20 years old and I'm from Honduras.
How old were you when you left Honduras?
I was 3 years old when I left Honduras to move here.
So what's your name?
My name is Marvin Angel.
Okay. How old are you? And where are you
I am 22 years old and I was born here in the United States.
So have you lived anywhere other than the United States?
Yes, I have lived in Guatemala. I was there for 3 years. After graduating elementary, my family decided to move over there, so I was there for 3 years.
How did that affect you, that change?
It really did affect a lot because over there where I stood, where I lived was completely different from how I lived here. It was in a little village, there was woods around, so it was completely different from what it was here. Since I was used to the city, the suburbs, but over there it was literally just woods. So it really did affect a lot.
So what do you remember about it?
Surprisingly, I actually remember a lot of stuff, mainly because of the fact that my grandma was a kindergarten teacher. So I used to, at a young age, I was 2 years old, I started going to kindergarten with her and I started spending time with her and I learned a lot of Spanish. So Spanish was my first language and I was able to adapt, and I remember going there and at the end of the day I was making up the pictures of our old house and everything, but when I visited after a while I was able to see everything that was in my memory and stuff was actually what I remembered. It wasn't made up.
Yes.
So did you speak the language when you lived over there?
I did, but not as much as I do now. Over there, I did improve my Spanish a lot since over there I even spoke Spanish. It was if anything, I did lose a little bit of my English over there.
So in the beginning, did you have any issues interacting with other people, communicating with people?
It was a little difficult because people saw me as a privileged American. They even sometimes said why are you here? Why did you come to a different place? You had the best life over there. It was just, I felt a little bullied in a sense, but after time, it just it was something that I just overcame, and I became friends with everyone, honestly.
That's good. How do you perceive your culture over there, the culture over there compared to the one here in America?
It's completely different. I feel over there, culture is something that's really important to them. It's really sacred. There's different days for everything, and they always go to it. So I feel over there I learned a lot about the culture about my family had. So it was different an experience to go through and to just know about.
Can you tell some of the similarities and differences between being here and in Miami and being over there in Guatemala?
Difference over there, I feel that there's more, I guess maybe peace over there. There isn't much problems. It was very it was free where I live. You build your own house, you get your own water source. People live less with worries over there compared to here.
Mm-hmm.
People here have to work to pay rent, to pay electricity, to pay for their car. So I feel worriness over there was completely less. And some of the similarities I feel is just their own unique cultures that they have. Both places have their own culture that they go up to, that they live for, and that they're really proud of.
Nice. So you would say that culture shock did affect you when you moved over there?
Yes, it did definitely affect me in so many ways because it was something totally different that I have ever experienced. It was something that I've never seen before. So it totally did an impact on me. It did teach me a lot, made me see a lot of stuff that I've never seen before. So it did had that effect on me.
So how did you cope with culture shock being over there?
So I was able to spend a lot of time there. Even though it was short, I do remember a lot of things and it was very, very, very different than here.
So what are some of the differences in you state between here being in Miami and being in Honduras?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with, sadly, safety, because in third world countries, safety isn't a really great thing per se. I remember like I was there for 3 years, and when I was 1 year old, they assaulted my whole family in our house, and like they tied us up and everything, and like I don't really remember that clearly, but my mom always tells me what happened, and it was just like a really scary thing. And then another thing that happened was like we got into a car accident, and like just being here, like I've never been assaulted, I've never gotten into a car accident here. It's just like, knock on wood, but just like things like that.
Okay. But what are some of the similarities between up here and Honduras, if you can find any?
Some of this, okay. So my family's lived in Melbourne, Florida, so it's very different than Miami. So if we look into comparing Miami and Honduras, there's a lot of similarities, mainly because here in Miami, everybody that comes in, like whether I work or whether I go to school, a lot of people speak Spanish. So it allows me to connect with the different cultures, and I can see clearly what in my culture is similar to the people here and cultures here, like a lot of the food and things like that.
So would you say that you are more connected to Miami more than Melbourne?
Definitely. One of the big things I would have to say that connects me is my name. In Melbourne, I grew up my whole life being known as Ara, because people can't pronounce my name. But here in Miami, I have to, when I first moved for college, I was saying, oh, hello, my name's Ara, and they were like, what? And I would be like, oh, my name's Aura, and they're like, oh, okay, I get that. So it was like a culture shock, like back and forth per se, because I had to adapt to that, and it's just something that like I've learned being here in Miami that connects me back to Honduras.
So so speaking of culture shock, what other things have affected you culturally? So like that being said, like you just mentioned how your name is like people are able to pronounce your name here, you would recognize that as culture shock, but as a positive culture shock, like something that you would be more connected to. Are there any negative, anything negative about being in Miami?
I would have to say, I don't know why it is, but I feel like maybe it's the amount of people that live in Miami versus like living in Melbourne. I feel like people over there are more to themselves in a way, sometimes more respectful. I know here traffic is terrible and people don't follow, like I literally have to struggle because I use my turning signals because I grew up in Melbourne, but here nobody uses their turning signals and it's really stressful and it's a struggle. So it's just like I feel like people are a lot more careless here in that sense.
Yeah. Okay. How would you say that you interacted with others being in Guatemala? Like how do I say it? Like how did you make friends? How did you meet new people? Because you said you spoke the language, but it wasn't really your first language.
Yeah.
And you weren't very welcomed in the beginning, so how did you overcome that?
Well, I guess because since I was American, I guess all the students in the squad was like they became curious. They were like, oh, how is it over there? Like they were like, teach us bad words from over there. So it was just like those little things that made me become friends with everyone.
Like you would find little connections with people.
Yeah, especially since over there, soccer is like their main sports, and basketball was like a girls' thing. Yeah.
What?
It was a girls' thing, and then I just started playing basketball, and the girls saw me, they all came up to me, and then the guys saw, so I guess they were jealous, so they're like, yo, let's become friends with this guy. So it was something I felt like praised in a way, but like it was something at the same time. I was like, I didn't want to be known as a gringo.
Yeah.
I was just known throughout the whole time, and I kind of was like whatever about it. By the end, I was like, okay, that's who I am. That's enough, I guess.
I mean, you're pretty tan. Oops.
I'm tan because
like you fit in visually.
Yeah,
it's like when you start talking.
You don't look like a gringo.
Yeah, so that was how I became friends with everyone. I became super popular by the end. I don't know.
And then now you're back here.
Yeah, I'm back here. Yeah, they were like, don't go. You guys didn't want me in the beginning here.
Basketball is the key.
Yeah. Right? Well, we're glad you're back.
Yeah.
And thank you.